Hello, everyone. Welcome to your Week 17 edition of the BSB. I'm Sean Kaus, and on my other screen over there, we have my brother, Tony James, and we are your betting strategy brothers. Tony, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. What's up with you, BS? We had a rough week, eh?
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
we got pretty good. I mean, I won part of my round robin, so I got part of my money back on that. But that was it. I'm down. Three quarters of my 100. I'm down $75. It was rough. Going into week 17, it's never something you want to do is be down and try to make it back on a week 17. But hopefully we can do it. Hopefully we got it figured out. How about you?
Well, I won my straight bet with Seattle. The Rams are pretty close to the no trust list right now. My Chargers and Green Bay parlay pushed, so it went to a straight bet with Green Bay, which Green Bay took care of business on Sunday night, so I won that. And other than that, I did not have the best week. So I am looking forward to week 17. But week 17 is kind of a challenge, man, because you have teams playing for playoff lives, and then you have a bunch of teams that are playing for zero. And when you get those teams playing against each other, it's like anything can happen. And so that makes it tough for a bettor.
Well, it also makes it tough too, because we're doing this, it's Friday, and there's Saturday, Sunday, 2 days left, and there's still games that are either not on the board or they're suspect on the board. And it's teams like my Bills, McDermott's coming out and say, I'm not telling you what our plan is. You got teams sitting everybody. You got teams, I don't know if we're going to sit. Yeah, we're going to sit. No, we're not. It makes week 17 really hard. So it's kind of hard to make money on week 17, but you really got to filter through the stuff, and I hope we can help you do that this week.
For sure.
So before we get into that, let's get on into our flavors of the week.
Yes.
My friend, I am drinking a Lagunitas. However the heck you say that. Like, I don't know. I've had too many already tonight. So, but either way, they're fantastic, and I'm loving it.
You can never go wrong with a Lagunitas. It's great stuff. I think it's from Northern California. I went to one of their restaurants once many years back. It was fantastic food, fantastic beer. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of a relay race, so I couldn't drink that much, but it was still pretty fun.
Nothing wrong with drinking beer during a race.
Oh, not at all. Well, I took a page out of your book, so I don't have a really cool can to show you, just my Staples Center cup. But inside my cup, I have Pink Whitney, Pink Lemonade Vodka, which is a New Amsterdam brand. Arizona people know Paul Bissonnette. He's kind of the guy behind that beverage. And I mix it with the La Croix, but it's not really La Croix. It's like the Target knockoff kind. But you mix it all together, and I tell you what, man, you can't taste any alcohol in it. It's a great night drink. So if I fall asleep, you know what happened. I had too many of these. But you know what? It's a very relaxing, very mellow beverage. And for a Friday night talking about football, like we're going to talk about, it's really goes down smooth.
Well, I'll tell you what, Biz Nasty, I always see that on Twitter, putting it up there, and I've always wanted to try to have it. So you're inspiring me. But something else I want to talk about, you talked about the LaCroix, or however the heck you say that. Something we don't often talk about here. We're always talking about our flavor of months. You guys at home, make sure you hydrate. I drink those waters. I drink one or two of those, off-brand, Safeway brand or whatever, before I go to bed. That helps take the edge off, helps me feel better in the morning. So always make sure you hydrate while you're drinking, two-fisted like Tony just was. And it always makes life better. So
100%. I mean, I know people would make fun of me when I'm sitting at the bar and I'll order a beer and a water at the same time. And they're like, oh, look at you. You have two waters, blah, blah, blah. You're right. You should have one and one. And that's an easy way.
I slightly disagree with you there. You should have one, and one. Shot, drink, water. Three.
I just don't want to, I'm too old to have that cruddy feeling the next day. That's for sure. But I'm sure that there's going to happen again. I know it will. So
I agree. All right, let's get into our picks, brother. Let me start off.
Let's do it.
I'm going with my boy Justin Herbert. I think he's money. He's showing it every week. He's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better. And they're playing the Chiefs. Now, any other week, we say, hey, you're playing the Chiefs. There's no way you're going to win. Unless you're the Bills or the Raiders. But there's no way you're going to win. But here's the problem. Kansas City has nothing to play for at all. They're the number 1 seed. They can't go anywhere. Why risk getting people hurt? So they're sitting everybody. And the Chargers are a good team, and they're going to play to win. I don't know why Anthony Lynn has his job up. I think he's done a good job with that. I think he should stay. I think he's going to make that team into a playoff contender. But either way, I think they win. I'm taking them on a money line. My 20 is only going to give me 10. But after last week, I want to make sure I get some guaranteed money. So I'm taking that for the reason of Kansas City not playing anybody.
Yeah, and we get into one of the things about Week 17 that's always a challenge is who's sitting and who's playing. And in this case, I agree. I agree with you, even though I go against you later on, just for fun. The Chargers have every, even though they're out of the playoffs, they do have everything to play for. They are basically playing for Lynn's job, and if they've definitely been on the upward swing for the second half of the season. Herbert looks fantastic. It's unbelievable. He's a great pick in the draft. So I can totally see this coming through. Kansas City sitting everybody. It's like, Chad Henne's going to play. Like, what? Good luck. Good luck, Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Teams that have clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So a number 1 seed have been 9-23 against the spread in Week 17. 9-23 against the spread. Spread's only 3 points in this game. I don't think it's going to be decided by 3 points. I think it's going to be Chargers by a lot. So that's why I'm taking them on the money line.
Yeah, you could easily see this game going 27-10. I mean, just the Chiefs are just show up and hand the ball off and don't get hurt. I could totally see that happening.
Yep. Let get those other people reps going into the playoffs just in case something happens. What do you got for your straight bet?
Well, I'm going with my team, even though they're just pissing me right the hell off the last half of the season. But they go to Denver, and I'm taking the under, man. I'm taking the under on this one, under 51. The weather is going to be decent. I mean, it's 46 degrees in Denver on Sunday, which is, not terrible weather. The last time they played indoors in Vegas, it was 37-12. So that's 49. And the Raiders have a lot of questions. They don't know who their quarterback is an issue right now. Their defense is awful. But that same defense played a number on Drew Lock last time. I mean, Drew Lock had a horrible game against them last time out. And then I go back to last year. Last year, this game was 18-17. I expect something along the same lines. I expect something about 21-20 game. So I'm taking the under on this one.
Well, and that's smart too, because Vegas has covered the past 5 meetings between these two teams, which doesn't help you here. But what does help you is the past 7 meetings between Vegas and Denver have gone under. Past 7 times they played has gone under. So this, I see this trend continuing. I think Chucky puts in Mariota to get him some work, but I still think it stays under.
I actually, when they signed Mariota at the beginning of the year, I was like, what are they doing? They're getting this guy. He's actually been very, very good, and I would expect them to offer him up for another year.
They signed Peterman. What the hell? Mariota's way improvement than that.
Oh, 100%.
Peterman threw 5 interceptions on 8 passes. So, I mean,
Chucky loves Peterman, though. I don't know what it is. He loves him. It's so
he also loves to kneel at the 1-yard line and then lose a game at the end that could have sent him in the playoffs. So,
don't even. Hey, you know what?
I'm sorry, BS, but it's true.
Well, and I'm just going to go off on a look. That's what happens though when you play for field goals instead of touchdowns. That's what happens, and they deserved every single bit of that loss for doing that exact same thing. And so when I saw that Miami had 20 seconds to get to, I'm like, that's plenty of time. I even texted my buddy. I go, dude, that's plenty of time.
It is. That was insane. Fitzmagic was insane on that play. His fucking head was kissing his own ass when he threw that ball, and that ball still made it. Like, that was insane. You can't blame Chucky for that, but at the same time, you play for touchdowns. Yes, you run out the clock, you get as much, but it's harder to come back with a touchdown than it is a field goal. So I agree with you.
It's very frustrating, but you know what? It's crazy to think if they win that game at Denver, they're 8-8. They finished better than last year, and the upward trend continues, which is bizarre. All right, let's see. What do you got on your parlay this week? What do you got on your parlay?
So I got 2 parlays. My first one, so my buddy John Harrington. John, I love you, buddy. I'm so happy you listen, and I'm happy you text me all the time and talk about picks. I love it. I love talking football. And any one of you that have my number, feel free to text. I love talking football all the time. So he's in Vegas. I hope you're having fun. Last I knew, he was up a lot of money. So good for you, John. Take all Vegas's money. But he says, hey, give me a long shot. And I said, all right, here's the long shot. When I looked at this, I go, shit, I'm playing this just for the hell of it. So I'm going to take $10 and I'm going to put it on Cincinnati Bengals on the money line and Jacksonville on the money line. And that $10 is going to win me 602. Now, do I honestly think this is really going to hit? No. But do I think there is a teeny chance? Yes. If you look at what Cincinnati did 4 years ago, got my Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, ended their long season drought by at the end knocking Baltimore out. If Baltimore loses, they're out. Now, Baltimore wins and they're in. I think Baltimore is way underrated this year, and that's because half of their games that they lost, over half the games they lost, they were on COVID. So I think they're a better team than they have let up, but I could see them doing it. Okay. Baltimore has covered 5 straight, 41-0 outright as double-digit favorites. So do I really think it's going to happen? No. But to win $600 from $10, I'm going to give it a shot. Now, Jacksonville has locked up the number 1 spot. They cannot lose Trevor Lawrence. Now, I haven't looked recently, but before we started this podcast, Trevor Lawrence was getting his ass handed to him against Ohio State. Good for Ohio State, but I still think Trevor Lawrence is the man. But Ohio State, they're going to have the Heisman Trophy winner. They're going to be doing good. Anyway, Jacksonville already won that lottery. They are not going to lose that lottery. So they have nothing to gain, but nothing to lose either. So why not play? They're going to start Glennon again. So it's going to be Glennon. He's Glennon. You know what I mean? What can you say about Glennon?
He's the giraffe. Yeah.
But he's been doing better than the mustache.
Uncle Rico's been doing better than the mustache. I mean, it's terrible. I think what you really want is you want Felipe Rios to go Rios is what you're waiting for. You're waiting for them to find some way to finish 10-6 and miss the playoffs. I know that's what you're thinking. And you know what? As a Raider fan, I couldn't wish anything more for Felipe Rios than to miss the playoffs, to be honest with you. I hope this hits.
Okay. Here's the thing. I really don't think it's going to hit. I don't think either one of them is really going to win. I think there's a slight chance I could see it happening, but I really don't. But for that much money, hell, I'll throw $10 on it and try to win. But
100%.
Indy could still get in with a lot of help, no matter what happens. They win the division if Tennessee loses, and they win. But I root for Frank Reich. I really do. I love the man. He was built for a long time, but I just, like you said, it's Rivers. I don't trust him.
It's something, right? Can't you just look at them and go, there's something about them that just does not jive. Is there something, one week they look fantastic. They look like world beaters. And the next week they throw up a dog's breakfast. And they still have defensive issues with injury and COVID and stuff. So like I said, do I really think this is going to hit? No. That's why I'm only putting $10 on it. It was just when John asked me about it. He said, "What's the biggest long shot?" I went to those 2 right away, and I go, "Holy cow! $10 win 602. Why not throw $10 to see what happens? Shit, you can throw $1. You throw $1 on it and win $60. Like what? Why the hell not? I think I did that a couple of weeks ago. I think I had the Giants against Cleveland. I'm like, dude, I'll throw $10 on and see what happens. And you never know.
Correct.
I know. I probably should have taken my $10 and flushed down the toilet, but that was different.
All right, BS. What's your first parlay?
My first parlay, I'm going straight chalk here. I've got Buffalo on the money line and Tennessee on the money line. I got two teams that have things to play for here. Both of them are trying to. Well, Buffalo's in the playoffs. Tennessee's trying to get in the playoffs. You're playing for position here. Buffalo, with a win, stays as number 2 seed. Buffalo lost in a Pittsburgh win, and now they're the number 3 seed, which could mean one less home game. So. It does, getting that 2 seed versus that 3 seed can mean everything. So I've got Buffalo and Tennessee. Tennessee, like I said, they need to win them. If they win, they're in. And so I'm just putting $10 on that, hope to double my money and see what happens.
Well, and if they win the division, giving them that 4th seed. But Buffalo, like I said earlier, the problem is McDermott hasn't come out and said how much the starters are playing, if they're even playing. Pittsburgh already said they're sitting everybody, which I don't understand for the life of me, unless he's pulling a Bruce Arians where I lie really good and then everybody plays. But I couldn't see Tomlin doing that. So I think Buffalo has number 2 seed wrapped up no matter what. But I don't worry about that. Fitzpatrick is on COVID, so he's out. So if Tua can't handle it, I honestly don't even know who their backup is. I don't know who their number 3 is after that.
It's a good question. I have no idea either. And once again, we get back to teams sitting players and teams not sitting players, and it's just in my opinion, man, you try to finish at the highest seed you can or the best record that you can, whether you're 6-9 or you're 12-3. You always want to play for that best possible positioning. And I just think it pays that Buffalo, even if you play Josh Allen for a half, that's still better than playing Newton for an entire game, to be honest with you.
I agree. I just, you play him when it didn't really matter, and then he gets injured and your playoffs are done. And I love Matt Barkley. He's Buffalo's backup. I love him. And I think he's an okay quarterback, but I don't think he's going to lead them anywhere, but I think Allen can lead them somewhere. So I get both sides of that coin, but where I'm really worried on this parlay for you is Tennessee. You're looking at Houston.
By the way, I think I said Newton and I meant Tua. I meant Tua. Sorry about that.
You're good. You're good. I knew what you went. I was going past that. Here's what JJ Watt calls everybody out. If you're not going to play, don't freaking come. Why are you here? People are still investing in us, even though we're out of the playoffs. And he's right. Everything he said, I 100% agree with him. So he called them out. They're going to be fired up for that. David Johnson has had his best games this season over the last 2 games. Okay. Yes, they've lost 4 in a row, but over the past, they've been pretty tight. Okay. In Tennessee, they are 24-1 against the spread when Tannehill starts, but they're going to Houston to play for the division after they just got romped. Okay, They just got romped by Green Bay. That wasn't even close. There's a lot to say about, okay, we need to go in the playoffs with a better feeling like that, but they might be trying too hard to make up for it. That's happened many times before. Hey, we just got our ass kicked. We're going to try really super hard to make a statement going into the playoffs, and then you get your ass kicked again because you're too focused on doing something like Travis Henry getting his record. Okay, he's 223 away from getting 2,000 yards.
He's certainly got a good possibility because the Texans are 31st against the run. So if JJ Watt wants to call people out, he better call himself out too, because they are god awful against the run.
I agree. When you look earlier, when these teams played earlier, yes, Tennessee won. It was 42-36. It wasn't a blowout. So, and that was early in the season. Now, earlier in the season, I think Houston has a shot. I still think Tennessee wins, but I would be worried right there.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's just got so much to play for. And yeah, JJ Watt tried to be a hero this week, but how many times is that? For as many times as that works, it backfires just as many times. People would just be like, you know what? Well, screw you, JJ Watt. I'm mailing it in, collect my paycheck. I'm getting out of here. So yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And then once again, this is what makes Week 17 such a challenge, right? Is you have teams that are playing for things, and you have teams that are playing for pride. Well, how much are you playing for pride, really?
Correct. Well, all right. So let's go into my parlay here.
Let's do it.
So now I'm gonna go. I got a big one here. I got 5-teamer. So I'm gonna start with Washington. They are playing at Philly, and fucking Jalen Hurts has screwed me all 3 weeks he's played. Every time so screw him. I'm going against him. He's probably going to screw me again. He's a rookie, and I'm not blaming him. He's a rookie. I think he's going to do well. But it's a learning curve. But
True.
Part of the problem too is we still don't know if Alex Smith is playing. If Alex Smith plays, Washington wins this game. 100% hands down. They got rid of Haskins. Not only do I think he was a problem on the field, I think it was a problem off the field, not with the COVID thing. I'm talking about in the locker room. So I think it was a good thing getting rid of him. If Smith doesn't play, it's Taylor Heineke, and I don't know what happens there. I'm putting my money on it now that Alex Smith is going to play because they want the division.
Well,
they want to get it.
Washington has a pretty good defense too, right? So you got to look at that. Can the defense, if Alex Smith doesn't play, can the defense win a game for you?
Well, but once again, back to Hurts. Saints had a great defense, and he smoked them. So I don't know. I'm taking Washington, hoping that Alex Smith plays. That's really what I'm banking on this. Then I'm going to take Seattle over San Francisco. Seattle, surprisingly enough, is still playing for the number 1 seed. Everybody's talking about Green Bay and New Orleans, and rightfully so, but Seattle technically still has a shot to get that number 1 seed. So they're even playing for it, and they're all playing at the same time. So it's not like they're going to know. Yeah, so they're not going to know going into it, we can't get it or we can get it. They've already won the division, but they're still playing for that number 1 seed. So they're still going to play, and they're playing San Francisco. All this week is all division, mostly rivalries. So everybody's playing their heart out. I know that. But Seattle's still playing for the number 1 seed. So they got a little extra going for them. So I'm going to take Seattle. New Orleans, once again, another team playing for that number 1 seed. I'm going to take them on the money line. Seattle, New Orleans, they need Green Bay to lose. Okay, they do. Do I see that happening? Possibly. I mean, it could happen. But New Orleans is playing Carolina. Carolina traditionally, they've screwed me all year, and I started going against them and started winning. They're having a tough time. Their whole line has changed. It's just they're not looking good right now. So I'm taking the New Orleans on the money line. They have too much to play with Carolina being out.
For sure. And I think McCaffrey's just not even going to play again, right?
So he's not going to play.
So, it's been kind of a disaster there for him this year.
Correct. And then I'm going to take the Jets. Okay. Yes, I said it. I'm taking the Jets. I am on the Jets train. They won 2 in a row, and that's not why I'm on the Jets train. Why I'm on the Jets train is because New England's terrible. Okay. Now, New England they haven't said for sure whether they're playing Stidham or however the hell you say his name, or they're starting Cam, but Stidham's going to play most of the game, whether Cam plays or not. Cam has already shown what he can do. Whether they want him back or not, I don't know why they would, but he's already shown them what they can do. They're going to give Stidham a shot to see what he can do, to see if they're going to try to take Jacksonville's number 1 spot. I said it last thing, I'm going to say it again. They're going to try to get that number 1 spot and get Trevor Lawrence into their system, because Trevor Lawrence, even though he's getting his ass kicked right now, that game might even be over. Even though he's getting his ass kicked right now, he is a Patriots quarterback through and through. He's a system quarterback that's going to do well. Yeah, Clemson lost, got the ass kicked. But through and through, he's going to do good in that. So I could see them trying, and we've talked about tanking before. I don't want to say trying to lose. They'd be okay losing because they can get a higher pick, and then they have more to trade with Jackson. So I think the Jets win that, even though Frank Gore is out, even though the last time we played, Sam Darnold saw ghosts. I think the Jets win it just because of New England being bad enough, and New England is sitting a lot of players. They've already said they want to try out to see who is going to play. And then the last one I'm going to have in my parlay is Buffalo, Miami. I am going to take the under in that game because I am 100% thinking Tua isn't going to do a lot, and I'm thinking Buffalo's going to sit a lot of players. Now, maybe I'm wrong. It's too early in the week to know, even though it's only 2 days away, and that may come back to haunt me because Buffalo plays everybody. And look, the last, what did I tell you last week? 5 weeks in a row, Buffalo has almost covered the over themselves. But that's with Josh Allen and Diggs and da-da-da-da. If they sit them all, which I think they're going to, at least a half, I don't think it gets there. That's why I'm taking the under. My $10 is going to win me $139.
So that Buffalo-Miami game definitely has the trappings of a good old-fashioned 9-6 AFC East barn burner for sure, for exactly the reasons that you said, depending on who's playing and who's not. The Washington, I think, has the best defense in that division. I don't think it's close. Their problem is can you get just freaking decent play out of the quarterback position right now? If Alex Smith doesn't play, can Taylor Heineke just hand the ball off the entire game, or throw a 5-yard out or do something? Just don't turn the bloody ball over. I think that's what you're looking for there. So yeah, that's a good parlay though. I would agree with you with the Jets. I think the Jets win out after they went 0-13. They won that first game against the Rams. I think they went out.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm hoping that happens. Believe it or not, I'm rooting for the Jets.
Oh,
what do you got? What's your next parlay?
So my parlay
which
it also has the Jets. So for that reason, I think they're going to win out. I think the Patriots are mailing it in. I think they're done. I think it's pissing Belichick off, and I think it's great.
He's slamming phones.
So I got the Jets. This is kind of like my miracle worker here. I've got the Jets. I've got Dallas over the Giants. And then I also have Pittsburgh over Cleveland. And even though Pittsburgh is sitting everybody, I just think it would be so Browns of the Browns to be in the playoff race the entire season. They get down to the end, and wouldn't you just like to see Mason Rudolph throw some sort of touchdown pass right over Myles Garrett's head at the end just to win the game? I think that'd be fantastic. Even though I personally cannot stand the Pittsburgh Steelers and don't really care if they make the playoffs or not, preferably not, but then I can think about it now. So my $10, I'm going to throw that down and see if I can turn that into 190.
I know it's a huge parlay, and I like that for that money. I like the Jets. We already talked about it. Dallas, I'm with you on. I think they could beat the Giants. Drew Jones has not been the same since he got hurt. He's now turned into a pocket passer. He went from the number 2 rusher on the Giants to the number 8. Yep. That's a whole different dimension. So I think Dallas wins that. Dude, Pittsburgh is sitting. And not only, you said Mason Rudolph, I don't think Mason Rudolph even makes it through the half. And not because he's doing bad. I just think they know what they have in him. I think they're going to go to Josh Dobbs earlier than later, and now all of a sudden they're going to get their ass kicked. And I'm not a Baker fan. I never have been. Didn't like him in college. I'm not a Baker fan. But he's getting his receiving core back, most of them anyway, from COVID. And they, like you said, they do have something to play for. And I think they want it too much to let. And it's a slap in the face. Hey, we don't care. I know you got to get in. I know you're a division rival, but we're going to beat you with our JV team. And I think that's Cleveland's going to motivate and they're going to come out and beat them. So I'm really worried about that Pittsburgh game with you just for that. But in your favor, Cleveland is 2-9 against the spread in conference game this season and 0-5 in the last division game. So, and that's all against the spread. But I don't know. I don't see Pittsburgh pulling that out.
Yeah, and this goes back to, once again, I hate to beat a freaking dead horse, but who's playing and who's sitting and finishing with the highest position possible? I mean, Pittsburgh has a chance. Yeah, it's an outside chance, but you have a chance to finish the number 2 seed. Go get that extra home game. It can make a difference. I mean, when the Cardinals made that Super Bowl run, they were the 5 seed. And because they were the 5 seed, they got to host the NFC Championship game. Just that. And so it's just one extra game in there somewhere along the line made the entire difference.
Speaking of Arizona, different coach, but he said, I lie well. Tomlin could be lying, and he could be playing everybody. I mean, that is I don't think that's Tomlin. No. But it is a possibility. I mean, it is 100% possible he's doing it. Do I think it is? No, but could be. All right, what else you got on the parlay here?
I got one more parlay. I'm going against you a little bit. I've got the Kansas City on the money line. As much as we like Herbert here, and as much as I think the Chargers as well as they played, man, I'm just looking for them to charger it up here and mess it up. And I just see them losing this on a late field goal. So I took Kansas City on the money line. New Orleans also on the money line just because they have more to play for than Carolina. And then I took Denver on the money line. They're a slight underdog at home, but the Raiders are just sliding. They were 6-3, now they're 7-8. They're just it's just a bad situation. So with Kansas City, New Orleans, and Denver, I'm gonna turn my $10 into 83.
And that's good money, but we've already talked about it. Kansas City sitting everybody. They have no reason to play, and Herbert's going to win and going to make them pay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not like they're playing for undefeated. They're not playing. They have first seed. That can't change. They have a bye. Give the guys 2 weeks for no. I 100% don't see that at all. I mean, I was rooting for you, but I don't see that at all. New Orleans, I like. Denver, who knows? I mean, Marcus Mariota is going to get the play. Why not throw them in as an underdog? I like that play because I think the line itself is only.
I think it's two.
Yeah, that's what I think. So I mean, why not? I mean, I don't think that's a bad play. I don't like that KC pick.
Yeah,
I don't like it at all.
It's a tough call, man, when your parlay card relies on Chad Henne. But I'm going to be I'll be flipping through the channels and seeing what's going on there, and who knows, I might be I don't know what I'll be doing there. We'll see.
All right, let's flip it over to round robin. My round robin, we've talked about a lot of times. Round robin, you really make your money where it really matters is when you pick underdogs. That's really where the round robin is the best for you. Because if you get 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4 to hit on an underdog, you're going to make money. Whereas if you're taking round robins as favorites, you aren't going to make money until all of them win. You might get some money back, and some people will say, well, at least I didn't lose all of my money. I got some back. But you're still losing money. Whereas I'm going to pick all underdogs here because in the round robin, and I'm only going 3 teams, but even if only 2 of them win, I could still make money. That's why I'm doing that. That's why I'm doing that with the round robin. So I like Chicago. I think they could be Green Bay. They're hot right now. Trubisky sat. He came back. He said, screw you guys. I figured it out. You're not going to sit me again. It's a contract year. I haven't got a contract yet. I'm freaking pissed. If you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to go somewhere that will. San Francisco, maybe. I'm looking in your direction. Anyway, and he's going to make a statement here. He's going to let Green Bay choke, and he's going to win that game. You've got Montgomery running for Chicago, or he's out for Chicago, actually. Shoot, sorry. I looked at my notes wrong. So that's going to hurt him a little bit, but I still think Trubisky is going to do it. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is great. Yes, he's in an MVP race with
Mahomes.
Allen and Mahomes, but I think he's going to blow it here, and Allen's going to take over. So that's just my wish. The Rams over the Cardinals. I've said it before, and I say it again. Cardinals are overrated. They are fun to watch. They do have some explosive things, but Kyler Murray is in his head. He's halfway injured again. They're just 2 teams, and once again, I look at his attitude, and that's a big problem. But, Kingsbury is he's still got too much college in him. He has not gone to the NFL level. They're sitting, I think last week there was like 9 minutes left. It was 4th and 2. They were at like their 40-yard line. Punt it away. That's plenty of time. Let your defense make the play. No, he goes for it, and they get stopped, and that helps lose the game for him. So, I know the Rams are on a do not trust list, but I trust the Rams more than I trust the Cardinals, even though the Rams are going to have a backup quarterback. I still trust them better. I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to rely on their defense. I think their defense is going to make Murray pay. And then the last one is Atlanta. I'm taking them over Tampa, even though I think Chicago and the Rams are kind of a little bit of a long shot. I don't think Atlanta is. Tampa Bay, technically, yes. They have to play for the 5 seed. But they have it And the only thing that doesn't do it for them is if the Rams win and they lose. If the Rams win and they lose, then they switch and they got the 6 seed. And whoever gets that 5 seed, everybody's playing for that 5 seed in the NFC because they're going to play whoever comes out of, which is probably going to be Washington. They want to play Washington instead of Seattle, New Orleans, or Green Bay because those are going to be your top 3. So, yes, they do technically have something to play for. But once again, like I've said before, you play Brady, he's 90 years old. He gets hurt in that thing. Then you're screwed for the playoffs. Yeah, you made the playoffs for the first time in 100 years, but you got your number one quarterback injured in the game leading up to it where you were in the playoffs already. Now you're screwed. So I think they sit Brady. I think Bruce Arians goes back to, hey, I lie well when he says I'm trying to play to win and whatever. Of course, they're trying to play and win, but I still think he sits up. So those are all underdogs. So that's three teams, 4 bets, $5 a bet, $20 is going to win me $268. I'm going to pay the rent with that bet.
Well, you're going to be really happy if Chris Streveler comes in for the Cardinals. I'm telling you what, man, that's going to be magical. And going back to Tampa Bay, I think when you look at this game with Atlanta, I just look at it and go, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay just mails it in, just says, you know what, forget it. And, even though they want to hang on to that 5 seed because like that 5 seed means you're playing the NFC East. But that you get the 6 seed, now you might have a long plane ride. So, but with the way that Atlanta has been playing lately, you could totally see that. And I would even go and say more so along the lines of the way Tampa has been playing lately. Because Tampa, they played Detroit last week, but we go get 9 guys from the hood and go beat the Lions. So, it's more so of how Tampa's been playing lately.
Yeah, yes, but I think not only that, I think it's a combo there. I don't just think that. Atlanta lost by 4 to Tampa 2 weeks ago. Last week, they held KC to under 20 points, only team this year to do it. Mm-hmm. And yes, KC technically still had something to play for last week. You say, I didn't have anything to play. Yes, they do. If they didn't lose, if they lost last week, they're still playing again this week and everybody's playing. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. So, I think
it's a solid round robin. I don't think there's anybody would be surprised in the least if Chicago beats Green Bay. They're still playing for playoffs, So you have 2 teams that are playing for playoffs and 1 team that's playing for, pride. But it looks like it can be.
Matty Ice is a big pride guy.
Yeah, well, this is probably for a different day, but they still, I don't think, have recovered from that Super Bowl at all.
All right, well, and this is another reason to beat up Tom Brady. All right, hey, you got two of the games I just put in there. You have in your round robin, but you put them with somebody else. Tell me what you got going on.
Well, let's see. I've got definitely got Chicago on the money line there, along with you, because for same reasons, man. Same reasons. Even though you can't spell Trubisky without BS, and that's kind of God, that guy's. Anyway, I took Philadelphia this over Washington for the. Is more so not. It's not for the Washington defense. It's more for their since there's such a question mark at quarterback. I think Hurts is probably better than Heineke, but at least lately he's been. But if you get Alex Smith in there, that can definitely cause a problem. But I went with Philadelphia on this one, and then I'm going the other way. I'm going with Tampa Bay, even though I say that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost this game. I equally wouldn't be as surprised if they won this game. So just to keep that number 5 seed, because if you have to go up against Dallas or Washington, I really like your chances on the road against either one of those 2 rather than going to Seattle. So,
and here's something else that you're not taking into consideration in this Tampa Bay. For them to get out of 5th, the Rams have to win. And while I do think they're going to win, and I think they're going to, I don't think the league thinks they're going to beat Arizona because Arizona's trying to get into the playoffs. So I really
Yeah, but
I think they're going to mail it in.
Yeah. You think Tampa Bay's going to mail it in?
Yes. Because I think the Rams are the only one that have a shot to take them over, and I don't think they're going to. But that's me.
And I don't want to get on the conspiracy theory on this, but I think the league wants Brady in the playoffs. They need Brady in the playoffs. So, and I think they need him to have a nice long run.
Well, he's already in there. All right, let's go to teasers. We can argue about this all day. Let's go to teasers. All right, on my teaser, I got Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta plus 12.5. I put them on the money line earlier. Why the hell not take them with points just in case they lose? I got Dallas. We've already said about them. I'm going to take them plus 4.5. Green Bay, Chicago, I think that's going over. I think Trubisky and Rodgers are going to be throwing all over the place, even though it's going to be cold and a little bit snowy in Chicago. So snow should be let up by then, so I think they're going to be throwing it all over the place. And that over is only 44.5, so I think they can reach it there. The Rams, I think they win outright, but I'm going to put them in here at plus 9. Seattle, I think, wins outright, so why not put them in the teaser at -1? And we already talked about the Jets. So once again, my 20 makes me 110, and we've talked about all those games, so you guys know why I did that.
I really like all of those. And I also put Atlanta on my teaser. Even though I took Tampa on my money line in the round robin, I really like them getting 12.5. And that's a case where I could have one, if everything falls the right way, I get one bet to win and I get the other bet to win on a different card. So that's really good. I also took the Jets. I took Carolina plus 12.5 over this against the Saints. Earlier, I took New Orleans on the money line, but I think that Carolina could cover the 12.5. And then I took Buffalo plus 3 on my first teaser. So that 15 will win me 54. I just think Buffalo's better than Miami, period.
Even with Barkley, even if they don't play things, I think Miami is a great team. I think they're going to be good. They're going to give Buffalo fits for the NFC or for the AFC, but I right now they're not there. They need to get more experience, I'm surprised by how much they increased this year. I knew they would, but I didn't think it'd be that. I mean, Flores, I knew last year was doing a good job and he was going to get him going. I just didn't think it was going to be this quick and this good. So sure. I'm definitely impressed. But hey, I still think Buffalo's better. All right, what else you got on your teaser? You went over unders. This time take the unders. I like it, Tony.
I did, man. I freak. Last week I learned my lesson, right? I took the under in the Rams game. I took the over in the Minnesota-Detroit game. Even though that Detroit over missed by 1.5 last week, and mostly because Detroit couldn't freaking wipe their rear end without a playbook. It was pretty awful. But I think that in the course of a season, there's always one game that you just freaking suck at. And plus almost their entire coaching staff was out. I took the under in the Tennessee-Houston game, and then I took the under in the Jacksonville-Indianapolis game. So that 15 is going to win me $54. The unders in the Jacksonville game at 55.5 and the Tennessee game at 62 tease them up a little bit. I still expect them to be high scoring, but I don't expect them to get as high as 62 or 55.5.
Well, Arizona and the Rams, look, the Rams have the number 1 defense, so they're going to shut down Arizona a lot. It's causing them to score less points. And the Rams are starting to back up quarterback. Goff is out with his broken thumb thing. So I love your under there. Minnesota, Detroit, my worry there is there's no Dalvin Cook. So that is my worry for you. But no Dalvin Cook means they're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. So that usually helps for overs.
You like that?
Yeah, so that's always a good thing. Tennessee, Houston. Tennessee's going to be running the ball all over the place. Although, Tannehill, he's the reason they're winning a lot of games. I mean, you can sit there and say Henry, and you can't argue that. And yes, he has a lot to do with it. And if it wasn't for him, Tannehill wouldn't be winning games because that running game opens up everything. But Tannehill is winning them games, so that's a worry on that game. Is just if they abandon the run because Houston is throwing it so much and scoring, then it could go over. But 62 is a lot of freaking points.
Yeah, and that's more so an indictment of Houston and their lack of weapons more than anything else. I full on expect Tennessee to put up 4 touchdowns. This is just a matter of Houston just not being able to keep up. Yeah,
I would agree. And then Jacksonville, Indy, I I don't think either one of them puts up a lot of points, to be honest with you. I really don't.
I think it's a close
Felipe
one.
Rivers, Felipe Rios, he screws Indy here. He might win, probably will win, but I don't think he's going to put up as many points. I think he's going to make it closer than it should be. Glennon's going to have a good game, and that's whatever. So one more thing I want to talk about before we conclude here. I still got $20 left on my bet. Now, last week, I got to the Buffalo game on Monday night, and I said, hey,
you had some fun.
I had some fun. So I said, all right, I'm going to have some fun with Buffalo game. Like we've said before many times, we bet more than we talk about on here because we don't have enough time to talk about everything. So I teased Buffalo. I teased the over, and I won that bet. Then I took then I said, hey, that's not enough. I want to do more. I want to have some fun. So I started taking prop bets. Now, prop bets are bets where you're not betting on the game itself. You're not betting on who wins, who loses, who goes over, who goes under. You're betting on specific things. So last week, my prop bet that I won, and I don't know where Vegas had this, but I go, you're way off. The over-under for how many touchdowns the Bills would score in that game was 2.5. They said, they're only going to score 2.5. I go, no way. And it was right? Like, yeah, they scored 5. And it was like plus 255 or something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but basically Vegas was saying there's no way Buffalo is going to score more than 2.5 touchdowns. I couldn't believe it. I jumped all over that, made my money easy. Then I got crazy. I said it was $1 that Cole Beasley had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Obviously lost that. And then it was that $1 would have won me $75. So I go, shit, I'll throw $1 on that. And then I had $1 on N'Keal Harry getting 100 yards and a touchdown or something like that, which also didn't happen. But it was $1 to win $75 again. So it was $2. I could have won $150. Once again, specific things that you bet on a prop bet. Mm-hmm. But why not? You can have some crazy things. Now, this week, I'm taking a prop bet just because, like we said, week 17 is so unpredictable, but something that I can predict that I'm saying right off the bat here. The prop bet I'm looking at is Seattle. How many touchdowns they're going to score? Their over is 2.5. Now, it's only 20 to win me $9, but I guarantee you Seattle puts up at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns against San Fran when yeah, San Fran's coming off a win. Yes, they're trying to divide it, but Seattle's trying for that number 1 seed. And everybody, Green Bay, New Orleans, and Seattle is all playing at the same time. So it's not like they know going into that game, they're not going to get it. So they're playing for it. They're going to play hard. They're going to get a lot of touchdowns. Metcalf's going for records. So it's they're 100%. That's my prop bet. Yeah, it's $20. Yeah, it's only going to win me 9, but I guarantee that's going to happen. It gives me something else fun to watch about that game.
Oh, for sure. And what a lot of people will see, or when they think of prop bets, a lot of times it's the Super Bowl, right? Vegas comes out with their list of 95 different
heads or tails.
Yeah, or a couple of years ago, I think it was the last score of the game will be a safety. It was like plus 1,200 or something, and it actually hit. So those are the things that make games really fun. And yeah, I think Seattle this is kind of like. Seattle's going to overmatch San Francisco, and they score 3 touchdowns, and then you're a winner, right? So that's a great bet. I think you've got.
And the nice thing about prop bets is it doesn't matter who wins or lose. True. Like it doesn't matter. San Francisco could win this as long as Seattle scores me 3 touchdowns. I win, and that could happen in the first half, and I got 1, and I got my money. So, that's always good. So,
yeah, that looks like a winner to me, my friend. That looks like a winner.
I'm good with that. All right. Well, everybody, that is the end of our Week 17 edition. It was fun as always. I love talking football with you, Tony, and everybody at home. You want to talk football with us, text us, tweet us, Facebook message us, do all that. We love talking football. We love talking betting about football even more. So please hit us up. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Like, share. Let everybody know that you love us. Let everybody know we're doing a good job, or let everybody know we suck and tell them to take the other picks. But either way, they got more. Either way, they got
right. Yeah. Yeah, just a reminder, everybody, that as much as we want to win and we hope we're giving you good advice, so this is just purely for entertainment purposes. We don't guarantee anything that we say here. So for all we know, like I said, pick with us or fade us and see what happens.
That has a lot to do with it. So, yeah, definitely. And Happy New Year, everybody, and
Happy
go
New
Bills.
Year. All right,
Go Bills.
see
Love
ya.
you guys.